If I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, I just try to shut up. I want to be truthful to myself. I don't want to be delusional. One thing I've noticed is that most losers that I've known in my life fantasize about how they're successful and fantasize about how their competition is failing and will make things up. They will sit right there to your face, do something, and then deny they did it instead of just owning up to it. And when you lie like that, it doesn't just infect the general culture, it infects your brain. You start believing your own bull. And I don't want to be one of those people. That's why it's so upsetting fundamentally to see a rotting political culture that's doing just that, rotting. I want to hear from you on elections 2014. I have never openly endorsed the Tea Party, even though I was part of its founding with Ron Paul, the proto-groups drafting him to run back in 2007, up ahead of 2008. And even before that, in the election before that, called themselves the Tea Party. Libertarian, anti-war groups who didn't want to be associated with the Democratic Party. They went out in Austin, Texas, and in Boston, Massachusetts, and then in San Diego, California, and I was part of some of those first events here in Austin, and they would march to the bridge and throw the 9/11 Commission report in the water, or they would throw the PNAC document in the water, and the police would threaten to arrest them, and then they would tie a rope to it and pull it back up. I mean, how pathetic that they would target us like that. Because the old Tea Party, they just went and actually sacked the ships and threw it right in the harbor and beat anybody over the head that tried to stop them. Think about how timid we've gotten. And I'm not calling for violence. I'm just illustrating the difference. Paul Revere rode around on his horse saying, "Get your guns, get ready for war, get ready to kill people. An enemy has landed to usurp us. Oneth by land, twoeth by sea." And they called him a great founding American, one of the archetypal symbols. But then I go on air and get in Piers Morgan's face and say, look, cut out the lies, the fake debate. You're here to take our guns to conquer us, to enslave us. You're on notice, Redcoat. Oh, my gosh, the most evil thing. Why, I was so discredited until his ratings slide accelerated and he lost his job, and they accredited that particular interview as the salvo that broke the dam. That's how easy it is to overthrow this un-American, stinking fraud if we ever just start believing in ourselves and taking action. The truth is, every time you take action and you do it long enough and don't stop, you end up succeeding when you've got right on your side. To quote the founding Texas Ranger, a man in the wrong can't stand up against a man who's in the right when he keeps on a-coming. And isn't that the way it always is in life, in almost every case? When you've got the moral high ground and you've got courage and you don't back down and you keep on a-coming, it may seem like you're losing for a while, but praise God. I say praise God, not to be a preacher. That's just what I feel like saying, that you end up winning. And that's what it's all about, is winning and trying to create a better world. And that's what people like James O'Keefe are doing, and I want to salute them. And I want to salute all of you, the activists. I want to promote some more of the contest entries, maybe on a special page, Infowars.com/contest. Post them all there, from folks going out, drawing attention to Obama leaving the borders open, flying Ebola patients in, and covering it up before the midterm elections. That ended up being in New York Daily News and CBS News and a whole bunch of other publications, and went super viral and drew attention to it. $7,500 contest. We're going to have 3 winners. We'll announce them on Wednesday after the election. But you all won by taking action and getting involved. I salute you. And then millions of people ended up seeing the videos and it ended up becoming national news, and it brings heat on them, and they don't like that. Will our little action, our protest idea save the world? No, but together that idea of resistance and telling the truth and getting active and getting out on the street and getting active in cyberspace, that is the spirit of 1776 that will bring down the mindset of 1984. So here's the toll-free number, 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. I'm going to actually get to the quote here in a minute, but Mitt Romney came out and said something I really agree with. He said we need to have this be a referendum against Obama and repudiate his whole evil agenda, and then we need to have election reform of all this election fraud once the Republicans have control of the Senate and the House. Well, that's not going to happen with people like Mitch McConnell and John Boehner. And quite frankly, Mitt Romney, if you wouldn't have soft-soaped it and taken a dive, you would have been the president, not Barack Obama. But the Republicans would have rather had a bigger sweep of the House and Senate and get more campaign contributions running against Obama than they would have getting in there and stopping him. There's no telling what Obama may do after this election. With 2 years as a lame duck, he's already proven he's acting as a dictator. That's not me saying it. That's Jonathan Turley, a liberal constitutional law professor. Obama is acting as a dictator, so there's no telling what they're going to pull while you guys have been playing politics. I mean, look, it's well-known talk radio loses about 30% of its audience when a Republican's in office. I could care less about losing audience and losing traffic to Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com if we got a Rand Paul elected or somebody similar. I want a future for my children. I don't want to sit there and go, boy, it's a big fire the Democrats have burning the country down. Let's roast some hot dogs on it or something. This is not a game. And it's the lawyers sitting back that run the Congress politically thinking about what will drum up more business and more money for them while the whole country goes over the edge of an abyss. We can't play these politics anymore. The country is too fundamentally screwed up. And while you're playing politics with Democrats because you want cheap labor and the rest of it, they're flooding the country with third world labor that will incidentally vote for their agenda and will vote to overthrow American citizens and disenfranchise us and politically make us slaves regardless of our color. And this is all being run by big banks in Europe and New York who've already done this in other countries. They're not going to be helping the third world people. And, the sad part about it is I ran out of gas. And a guy pulled right over who was from El Salvador, really nice, drove me to get gas. And hadn't run out of gas in years. And I tried to give him $20 for being a good Samaritan. He said, no, no, no. And he was just such a nice guy. You could tell, a good, nice Christian man, had a little cross hanging around the mirror in his car. Much more non-decadent, hardworking than I'll guarantee you most spoiled Americans, myself included. Of course our future is immigrants. Of course our future is poor people. The problem is they get here now, and the Democrats are there trying to put them into their cult. That's why they want them. That's why they say they want them. And that's what's so sad about it, is that there's no real libertarian patriot outreach to immigrants from Latin America, immigrants from Africa, immigrants from Asia, immigrants from Eastern Europe, with such hardworking people. There just aren't there. And so, again, the globalists can have all these arguments all day long about why, well, we need to take guns to make you safe, or we need to open the borders to be nice, or we need to... They can always have some arguments that sound good for this, but in the final equation, it's bad people running it. So whatever they're doing, you better believe it's not in your interest. Because it's a wicked mind piloting the system. That's why the media's jumped on Virgin Galactic. Or as one of our guys put a video up this weekend with a typo, Galactic Virgin. We're still trying to figure out what that means. Oh, boy. I don't know what that means. Tell Al-Qaeda there's a galaxy of virgins, not 47 of them, but a whole a billion of them. What would they do for that? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out a joke out of that. I want to go to Judy, veteran. Listen, here's another thing. After I take these 5 calls, it's going to be first-time callers in the next hour. First-time callers. I don't think I ever even gave the number out, and the phones are full. I gave it out one time. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. But here's the point I was trying to get to earlier. I never came out and endorsed a subgroup in a party, even though I was part of the libertarian movement that just spontaneously called ourselves